Last video, we said the tires are the first thing between you and the road. Well, suspension is the second, and it does a whole lot more than just make the ride comfy. It's quietly part of how safely the scooter handles. 2 minutes, let's get into it. Here's the part most people miss. Suspension isn't really about comfort. Its actual job is keeping your tire pressed down onto the road over bumps. And that matters way more than it sounds because a tire that stays planted can still steer and can still brake. A tire that's bouncing up off the pavement? Can't do either. So, suspension isn't some luxury add-on, it's part of staying in control. Now, there are three common types you'll run into. Spring suspension. Simple coil springs, reliable, cheap to maintain. Hydraulic or air, smoother and more tunable, but more complex. And rubber, basically just a rubber cushion, dead simple, zero upkeep. Each one strikes a different balance of plush, simple, and affordable. None of them is the best. They're just trade-offs. And here's the honest part. Nobody selling you a scooter says out loud, suspension isn't free. It adds weight. It adds moving parts that can wear out or start rattling over time. And get this, a cheap suspension setup can actually feel worse than a well-built scooter with none at all. Vague, bouncy, loose. So, more suspension is not automatically better. Done well, it's fantastic. Done cheap, it's a liability. There's also a hidden reason it matters, and it connects straight to the part we'll cover next. When a heavier rider hits a bump with no suspension, that shock doesn't just vanish. It travels right up into the frame and the welds. Do that a few thousand times and you get metal fatigue. Not one dramatic snap, but slow wear building up in the joints. Good suspension absorbs that hit, so the frame never has to. So, is suspension a luxury or a necessity? Honestly, it depends on you. If you're lighter and your roads are smooth, it's a comfort upgrade. Take it or leave it. But if you're heavier or your streets are rough and broken up, it shifts from nice to have to genuinely protective. For the ride and for the frame underneath you. Your weight and your roads decide that, not a checkbox on a marketing page. And remember the tires video, because these two work together. Big air-filled tires are themselves a form of suspension. They soak up a ton before a shock ever reaches you. So a scooter riding on large pneumatic tires actually needs less mechanical suspension to feel smooth. Two totally different routes to the same goal, keeping the road from beating you up. Quick, real example. On our own S60, we found coil spring suspension front and rear. Dual, one at each end, checked on our actual unit. Whether you even need that depends on your weight and your roads, and that's your call. I'm just showing you what stated clearly front and rear looks like as a reference point. And one honest little ownership habit since suspension's got moving parts. Every now and then, just glance at it. Any new play, any new rattle, anything that feels loose where it used to feel solid, catch it early. Moving parts wear, a 10-second look now beats a real headache later. That's the whole habit. So sizing up suspension comes down to a few questions. Does it even have any, and what type? Does that type suit your roads? Is your own weight and terrain actually asking for it? And are your tires already doing some of the work? Answer those, and you'll know whether it's a real need or just a nicety for you. You decide. That's suspension. The second thing between you and the road. The deck, frame, and welds are the natural next stop. And that's where the whole weight rating question finally gets its answer. Or if you'd rather see your real numbers, the range tool's right below.